What our festival is always about, always, is that the saying of the words is like an incantation, by which I mean that speaking these words out loud sets off a spell in the audience, in the person who says them, which extends beyond the room where they're spoken.
I've been here every single year, and it's really grown. This festival, it was fantastic the first year, and it really has. But it's grown up. It's a major, in my opinion, a major international event every September.
Being part of something like this is always exciting as a creative, endeavor, collective, because you do have that feeling, especially the work that we're doing is really about a team working together. Yeah.
I was doing research in Austin, Texas, about the origins of a play called Eccentricities of a Nightingale or Summer and Smoke. And I realized in doing the research in Austin, Texas, that there were important moments in Willliams' life that had happened in Provincetown, and that was different than the important moments that he had had in New Orleans or in the Mississippi Delta where he was born. And several of the things that because I had lived in Provincetown in the season, I understood then as patterns for the rest of his work, which is to say, the real feel of seasonality here, that one lives and makes money in the season for 2 months and then lives off that for the rest of your year. And this is true since the day of the whalers. And this was also true in Willliams' idea of love in the summer and heat in one's life that you brought back through memory or through storytelling or through dreams, and that this was a pattern that he had experienced viscerally here that he repeated in his writing.
Because of the place, this incredible town, Provincetown, it's magical. So it feeds a work of art in a very particular way. So, and it surprises us, and I think part of the joy of it is knowing that the audience is also, we're kind of experiencing place along with audience. So it's thrilling.
This time of year in Provincetown is beautiful. It's one of the best months, and everything's still open. All the restaurants are open, and it brings a summertime vibe back to the town. And it brings all kinds of theater people, and the town's really busy this time of year because of the festival.
Well, what I love about it is because I learned about the history of this place and how many artists and how many performers and writers and creative people have been here. So this feels like it's keeping its true to its roots. So I love that.
There's a theoretical idea that he talked about called plastic theater, which is using all the elements of the theater in order to create an art object, the movement, the color, the lights, the scenery, the costumes. And this is something that he learned about, yes, in school, but also in detail when he was here.
In the way Tennessee we'd be in a scene that we think is naturalistic, and then it would be this lyrical flight of fancy with deep intimations of mortality. I mean, it's a simple situation, and all of a sudden you're thinking profoundly of life and death. You're very, very sad, and then you're laughing.
The other thing that I thought was important about his time here is that beginning in the 1930s, there was a general acceptance in the town of gay identity. in the local paper in the 30s, someone had foolishly written in to complain about the drag bars and drag performances in Provincetown. And someone wrote back in the editorial pages and said, if you don't like that, you shouldn't be in Provincetown. In the 30s, which is extraordinary in America. The audiences are savvy, especially our audience. And so what happens is that the actors get the privilege and reinforcement and excitement of performing in front of discerning audiences.
The kind of audience that's here that so gets it, that's so receptive and intelligent and creative themselves was amazing. The other artists, and obviously doing it in, I think it's really genius doing it in the venue, in the different venues. Doing it at the church, we did it at the church at St. Mary's. It was really an amazing experience, and this is just taking it to the nth degree.
It was one of the most innovative stagings I've ever seen. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I've seen it many times, and I think it's a very exciting play in terms of the writing.
What it does for me is makes me think of every space as a possibility. So right here, we could be doing a performance, or this is kind of performance, or on the street, or in, and that the festival uses that. I think also we're educating the public to look for theater outside of the box and look for theater in creative new places and go to it and experience it and be part of it, and don't be afraid to be sitting in the middle of actors walking in between you, and it's exciting that way.
Great venue, fantastic venue, and particularly for today, so we can still be outside and still get Tennessee Williams, although it wasn't Tennessee Williams, it was his friend. And I really liked the way they switched it, so you got the second act first, and it ended on things being different, and that was such a perfect ending.
I've also been amazed at the way it uses all different spaces and different plays in different places. I have some other recollections of performances here at the Boat Slip from previous years, things that took place in people's yards and the hotel plays at the Gifford House. So all of the, the siting is as important to me as the productions and the plays themselves.
I connected with the character that just got married because of his cerebral palsy. I have cerebral palsy, so a lot of his fears I've experienced in real life. So I made a very good connection with his part of the performance and how he was trying to mask his quote-unquote disability and still have a romance.
I mean, it's really enjoyable to be here with people who are specifically coming to see Tennessee Williams. So it's been fun to sort of discover these audiences as they've discovered us.
And it's been fun for us to get to see all these other companies and to see the different Tennessee Williams plays and see all of the recurring themes. I think that speaks a lot to our piece and has helped us learn a lot about what it is that we're doing, being part of the larger Tennessee Williams canon.
Great.
Speaking of the canon, it's amazing to see the breadth and width of his work, but also the theme this year, as David Kaplan picked, was friends, circle of friends. So to see the friends that influenced Williams, that Williams also influenced, is really interesting to get a full sort of 360-degree view of the writer, whom I did not know as well before this week as I do now.
It's really been fun to perform our piece in the context of all the other pieces and to see how it fits in and how people here have just really embraced our show and all the other shows, and it's really deepened not only my knowledge of Tennessee Williams, but really of our own play, to see more of his other plays that were written around that time in that specific genre, and see what Tennessee was going through, because he's so autobiographical in terms of his writing style. It really sheds more and more layers on the characters that you're portraying. You can begin to see more and more of Tennessee Williams in the character that you're playing on stage, which is just wonderful.
That is the magic of living in Provincetown. You can be serving fries one week, and then you're on a stage the next.